Good evening and welcome to Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. I'm your host, CJ Odom, and with this, as always, the athletic director for San Marcos High School and head football coach, John Walsh. Coach, welcome back to Rattler Up.
Glad to be here.
We are live here at the Hays County Barbecue Big Tex Event Center. This is the place to be on Monday nights at 6 o'clock. To join us down here live, get some brisket, stay for Monday Night Football. This is definitely the place to be, Coach. This was your idea here at the beginning of the season. Tell us, what have you thought about just the accommodations here at Hays County and just the show altogether? Is this about what you've been wanting to have happen?
Well, the accommodations are great, and this is, they have an event center behind the restaurant that's tailor-made for this, and Mike has done a great job of allowing us to take over the venue and brand San Marcos Athletics. So, and I think as far as the show goes, you and Josh have done a great job of producing and hosting it, and we've been able to highlight our programs, talk about the football season, recognize kids from middle school, other programs like Diamond Line. So I think it's been great. Division is I think we're almost there. Everything's a work in progress, but I sure like where it's at.
All right, we're going to talk as the weeks go on here. We're going to continue it through the season. This is not just for the football season. We're going to continue Rattler Up through the year. We're going to keep focused. Tonight we're talking some basketball. We got sports going all season long. It's a great time to be a part of Rattler Nation, and Rattler Up is going to be here to feature it for you. So this week on Rattler Up, we're going to look back to this past Friday night, tough game against Bowie, and then of course look forward to this Friday night as we take on Akins with a lot on the line, which we'll talk about later on. We're going to get a big volleyball update as we take a look at as they get ready for their playoff run, and joined live in studio will be the head basketball coach for the men's team at San Marcos High School, Dan Miller. But Coach, we got plenty of cover here on Rattler Up, but before we get there, how was your weekend, specifically your Halloween weekend?
I think we talked about this, maybe not online, but I'm not a fan of Halloween. And,
well, as we said before the show, especially with Cowboys game on and World Series game on, right?
So my in-laws came in town, and their daughter, my wife, decided to decorate the house with lights, so we attracted trick-or-treaters. So I was able to bribe Maggie and Ruby to sit outside so no one would knock. So it ended up being a great Halloween. All
right, so good Halloween for Coach Walsh. That's a good thing. And Oklahoma State doing good things. Got a big win against Kansas. Got West Virginia coming up. Tied with Baylor for second in the Big 12.
They control their own destiny. And when they lost to Iowa State, Coach Gundy got on real quick and just let them know that went out and they could be in the playoffs. So there's game by game.
Now, obviously, I don't want to look ahead, but you always look forward to it every year, but Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma becomes massive this year.
Absolutely.
And I know that coaching staff's not going to look ahead, but we can.
Yeah, we're allowed to.
All right, well, let's look back at the San Marcos Toyota Rattler Stadium this past Friday night, where the Rattlers took on the Bowie Bulldogs. Lots going on. Our trip to the tournament we're looking to make happen in the Big Five. This is Game 4 of the Big Five, and the Rattlers were looking for their 4th win in a row after victories over Hays, Austin, and Del Valle. Bowie would prove to be a huge challenge, however, scoring on every play of the first half while shutting down the Rattler offense and taking a 35-0 lead into the halftime locker room. Rattlers set their sights on reclaiming that second half, and after holding Bowie to just a touchdown in the second half, but still being unable to score themselves, the Rattlers wound up with a 42-0 loss to move them to 3-3 in district and making the final game of the season a make-it-or-break-it for the Rattlers. So, Coach, obviously tough one for the boys Friday night. We knew Bowie was going to be tough. What are just some of your general takeaways before we break it down a little bit more?
Yeah, the general takeaways, I didn't see that kind of loss taking place. I knew they were going to be a challenge. They're pretty complete, and I remember last year kind of going, as we were playing, I was always checking the roster to see who had what coming back, just to kind of measure up already before the offseason started, and I knew they had most coming back, and you can just tell that coach has been there for, I think, over a decade, I think even longer than that. So the program's established. You can tell they've been through a few off seasons, and then at halftime, we just told them, we knew it. And I just told the kid there was no panic, there was no butt chewings. It was just, look, guys, from the head coach down to the punter, we all got our tails kicked in this half, and let's just make sure we don't waste a half of football, and that we just suck our pride up, go out there and play good ball, and get ready for the next week, which we knew was going to be a punch-your-ticket game. Right.
And so in the postgame, you talked about their 3-3 stacks, really kind of threw the offense out. Go into a little more detail as to why that threw us off and how it was difficult to react.
Yeah, there's basically 3 fronts. You got a 4-man front, you got the 3-4 front, and then you got this 3-3 stack. That's kind of the new wave out there. Iowa State kind of started the wave. And so it's just the way you combo to it is different. And I think our kids ended up in the second half blocking it better. But I told our coaching staff that it would be ugly at first, and then we would settle in. we just never settled in like we needed to, and they were good. They loaded the box up. We had a few protection issues, and really, I don't think I ever got momentum as a play caller. You know, I told the kid, I said it in the media, and I didn't just say it to take the heat off the kids. I really think I didn't get the flow going for our kids, you know, and so anyway, it is what it is. Now the good news is Vandergrift is the good news or the bad news. Vandergrift, our first round opponent, is a 3-3 stack. So we got practice at it.
That's excellent.
And luckily, that wasn't our first crack at the 3-3 stack.
And so then that's kind of what I was going to ask about. How do you take the taste of a game like that out of your mouth and get ready for a week? So that's got to be one positive. And then, like you mentioned, the second half performance has to be a positive that you pull from that to help the team understand, hey, we talked earlier in the season with W or L on the book. If we're getting better, we're moving in the right direction. You feel like we were doing that.
Yeah, after watching the video, there was some physical play. I thought live we were just getting physically taken to the woodshed, and it wasn't that way. We physically played ball. We just didn't we weren't assignment sound, but we were physically able to block, or we didn't tackle very well, but we were physically fine in the trenches. We just didn't do assignment well football. And how do we get that taste out of our mouth? I really think we did. You know, there's Coach here and Isaiah's here. I really think we did during the game. I mean, that sounds stupid, but the kids are listening, and I've always said the game of football is a beautiful thing to coach, because I did not see that coming, and as it was happening, I didn't like it. When it was over, I still think it was a beautiful thing that happened, you know, because we don't want to feel that way. We're on a 3-game winning streak, something that hadn't happened here in a while, so the kids might have been feeling themselves a little bit. Coaches might have been feeling themselves a little bit. So sometimes a good kick in the knee doesn't hurt. And, we don't want to feel that way again. So I think we left the stadium feeling just fine.
Great. And we talked about it. We're about getting ready for the tournament. Yep. And so if things happen in this game to get us ready for the tournament, then that's an overall victory, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to have – it was a tough week for sure for the Rattlers, but we got plenty more, and we're going to talk later on during this show tonight about our upcoming game against Akins and all that's on the line in that game. But before we do that, with that 1 week left, we'll get back to that on Rattler Up. But for right now, we're going to talk to get our Rattler Nation update. We're going to take a look at some things that are going on across the rest of Rattler Nation, and right now the off the football field area is definitely the volleyball team. So big week for the volleyball team, Coach, and we got to talk about the exciting week that was. So Friday, girls head to Johnson High School for a neutral game. Not quite sure how neutral in the same district is, but we'll take it. Neutral game against the Hayes Hawks. The teams were tied in district play after they'd each won a match. So this game was going to be the play-in for the spot in the playoffs, and the Rattlers were more than prepared for this pressure. They come out hot, winning the first set 25-9, and they just never let up. 25-14 and 25-11. They take the match in straight sets, dispatched the Hawks very easily. It also marked the team's 33rd victory of the season, and as was announced at the game that night, that made this volleyball team the winningest volleyball program in the history of San Marcos. So lots to unpack there. Let's start with the Hayes game itself. Now, you didn't get to be there. Obviously, You're preparing for those Bulldogs down at San Marcos Toyota Rattler Stadium, but talk to me, parent, AD, got to be excited about that game.
Yeah, as a parent, I had my phone in pregame, and I was getting the updates, and you know, I use the analogy to our football team for these girls, because they were in the exact same spot last Friday that we're going to be in this next Friday, win or go home, and they won decisively. You know, I think the first time we played them was 3-1, isn't that right, girls, at our place? And then, of course, we lost the second one, maybe 3-1, right? So, you know, to go out and sweep them, not only sweep them, when you win 25-9 against a good volleyball team that's trying to make the playoffs with you, that means everybody, it was a complete game. And everything I got from my wife's updates, Teo's updates, was that it was Maggie and Ruby, all the girls, it was a complete game. Everybody was on point. And you want to be playing that kind of ball, no matter what sport it is, the game before the playoffs. So they're hot at the right time, and hopefully it leads into Tuesday. Right.
Well, having seen almost every game myself, it was as good a team victory as I've seen. We loved seeing that Hayes didn't get their 25th point to the third game. That's how shut down the girls had in that one. It was really exciting. So talk to us then a little bit about that 33rd victory, right? Something that somebody realized, I guess, probably recently to say, hey, we're really on pace here. Again, I know you're not a big key stat guy necessarily, but something like that really means a great deal to say, like, hey, 33 victories and going means a great deal. Talk to us about that. What that means as we build Rattler Nation.
As an AD, you bring coaches in to build quality programs and build and build stuff and make memories and really leave your mark. And how better to leave your mark than how Coach Teo and the girls did. And I actually was about 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was walking through the gym and I saw a bunch of plaques and it just happened to hit me. And I asked Teo and he was on it. He knew what we needed and when it could happen. And so, yeah, it's to do something in the history of the school. I don't care if it's in fine arts or if it's in wherever it's at. To do something in the history of the school is monumental, and it needs to be celebrated, and it needs to be celebrated that day. And, later on you'll appreciate it, but I thought it was important. We had a plaque made. Teo didn't even know about it. So we got a plaque made. Lacey was kind enough to transport it over there and make it all happen where we celebrated the girls' accomplishment.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch them come off the court, not quite knowing what the walkover was for, and seeing that announcement, the excitement in their eyes was really great. And so now the team heads to North Austin and take on Vandergrift in the first round of the playoffs. This will be tomorrow night at 6:30. And Coach, this is the exact same first round matchup they had last year where the Rattlers got the big upset. So what does the team have to do to make history repeat itself?
Yeah, just continue what you did last week. You want to be picking at the right time. You want to have the momentum going into the I've talked about momentum a lot, and I can't write a book about it because I can't really put my finger on it. But when you got season momentum, you got to capitalize on it. And I think after Friday, the girls absolutely have the peak at the right time as a team, and the momentum's going. And we're going back to the same place we beat them last time. And I was actually with a parent of a Vandergrift volleyball player about a month ago, and he actually made the point, we hope it's not y'all that we see because you're in our heads. So hopefully we're in their heads and we use that momentum and we get to round two, win in advance.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I want to ask you just as a coach, to almost put yourself in the Vandergrift coaches mindset, right? Because you have this stunning victory last year that has probably, like you said, left a taste in their mouth for an entire year. Yep. I mean, you can really let that mess you up. You can let that be bulletin board material. If you're the coach over there, what does that coach have to do to keep his girls, or her, I'm not sure, her girls in line there?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So if I'm in those shoes, I know what I would do if I'm in Teo's shoes, and it's what Teo's doing is just repeat the process. I think you just gotta put that chip on your shoulder, and if Vandergrift, the Vipers, right? If the Vipers don't have that chip on their shoulder, then the coach is probably doing it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's going to lead us into our plays of the week. This time, plays of the week coming to us from the volleyball team. Exciting game, and yes, we rolled them. It was great. It was exciting, but it was fun to see the play. It was, like you said, as clean and well played a game as you're going to see, and as we've seen from them all year. So they're peaking at the right time. So again, we're at the Johnson High School gymnasium here. So Coach, we're just going to see a few here. We don't have to give a play-by-play here, but just what is it that was working so well that night, do you think?
Well, I wasn't there, so you're asking me an unfair question. But just the highlights here, are of Ruby making good sets, and it's Maggie finishing it off. But it sounds like Ruby was setting the gamut, and everybody was finishing them off and putting dents in the Johnson floor.
Yeah, I was there. It really seemed like we were sharing the wealth. They couldn't key in on any one thing because if they seemed to lean one way, we could just go the other. Everyone was doing their part. It was as full, like I said, as a team victory as could possibly be. And with that, you see there's our plays of the week, and that's going to lead us to our Rattlers of the week who are going to join us here tonight. Our Rattlers of the week are going to be Maggie Walsh and Ruby Gordon. So Rattlers of the week, congratulations, and they're going to be here with us live in studio. All right, so Maggie and Ruby there join us. Now, Coach, not only Rattlers of the Week because of the Big Win Friday, because of their team and the things that are going on, but Ruby now, we talk about all-time in the history, and San Marcos High School with a very long history, an 100-year history at this high school. So when you do things for the first time or the most ever at this particular school, it means a lot. And Ruby Gordon is the all-time assists leader at San Marcos High School. Maggie Walsh, the all-time kills leader at San Marcos High School. So congratulations to you girls on on those accomplishments as well. But let's talk a little bit. Let's go back to that Hayes game, and Maggie, I'll let you kind of get started. What was the mindset going into it? You knew you could beat Hayes, you had before, but you knew you had to this time. So what was the mindset going into the game for the team?
Yeah, it was kind of like a deal breaker for us. We knew we had to win, and they're also our rivals, so that kind of helps as well. And we knew they were going to have a crowd, and they were going to be loud. And when you're playing rivals, like, it can go either way. So we really didn't take them easy because we really couldn't. So we really had to, like, keep our energy on our side of the court. And it was a pretty not close game, but we
just say we whipped them. Do you right? You can say it.
We did a good job, let's say that, but we had to also focus on, because we knew we were going to play Vandergrift if we won that game. So once we won those 2 sets, we kind of had to focus on what we were going to do against Vandergrift and work on that gameplay too.
Okay. And so, Ruby, I want to take you back even further before we start talking the future. So I want to just get your feel. This is a big question, so you can kind of go any way with it, right? But just I want you to talk to us a little bit about just the season as a whole, right? This season has been pretty incredible to follow, right? Lots of highs, lots of lows, ups, downs, very emotional at times. Just talk to us about what you have felt personally and the team has felt just as we've taken that roller coaster ride to get where we are today.
Yeah, so compared to last season with like COVID and everything, Maggie and I were talking about this the other day, we didn't really get like a full season, like the preseason. So from this year, it's just a lot different because we had that extra time to like connect as a team. And so I feel like it's more of like a family. I'm not saying that last year we weren't a family, but this year especially we're just a lot closer, and we can like talk to each other in certain ways, and like we're like a family, so it's good.
How does it feel for you to know that you've got that assists record now?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Whenever I came my freshman year, I would see like the leaders on the board or like certain awards that people got, and like you never think it would be you. And then from this year, it's like kind of crazy, but I just owe it to my team because my job is just to get the ball from point A to point B. But everything else is in their hands.
Hey, exactly. Well, Maggie, let's talk then about coming up tomorrow night. So I love what you said there. You're midway through that Hayes game, but it was pretty clear we were handling our business. So you're already thinking what we've got to do. I mentioned with Coach just now, they're looking for revenge, and we know that going in. So talk to us about where you guys have to be in your mind going into a game that, statistically or however you want to put it, maybe you were the underdogs before. I don't know if you're the underdogs this time, but certainly chip on the shoulder resides with them. How do you get yourself fired up and ready to go for tomorrow night?
Yeah, I do think we are the underdogs because they won their district and we got 4th in our district. So I think they have the pressure, and we don't really need to have pressure on our backs because it really isn't at our gym. It's not in our gym. It's not home for us. So, and last season we played them and their gym with their crowd. So it's a little like kind of the same thing as last year. Yes. So we just have to go out there and play or do Jared's game plan or Coach Teo's game plan, and do all the things that we've been doing in practice and focus on things we have to do.
Okay. So Ruby, tomorrow, big night, right? 6:30 at Vandergrift. Here's our first round by district playoff match. So take us through the day. What will tomorrow look like for y'all? Like how do you get ready on game day? What will take us behind the scenes for people that haven't gotten to experience this? What will game day be like probably?
So you wake up and you start the morning with a pep talk in the mirror.
All right.
No,
all right.
just kidding.
The pep talk in the mirror. Okay.
No, but we go to school, we go to class throughout the day, and then we get let out early and we'll go eat as a team, and then we kind of just lock in from there. We just sit by ourselves, we focus on what we need to do, think about, envision winning, and then we get there and we warm up, and it's a good day. Hopefully bring home a win.
All right, and this will go to either one of you guys. Something that I have personally noticed all year long is you guys have done such an amazing job handling adversity. And I mean mid-game adversity, right? I've seen you win a set. I've seen you then drop a second set. I've seen you be down a good number of points. I've seen Coach Teo make those pivotal timeouts to bring you back over and talk. Either one of you, how is it that you guys have managed to stay focused and not let that kind of thing get you down? I feel like you're in it to the very end. Even in the losses, you've been in it to the absolute last play of the game. How does that come about? How does the team build that?
Yeah, it's really just about like coming together, and we know we made mistakes, but like it's like one play, and we can't let that one play make multiple issues and multiple mistakes. If we do let that happen, then it comes into where we have to fight back, and I feel like that's where at the beginning of the season beginning of district, we've had to come back to fight back. And I think that's one thing we've grown as a team is like calming down even if we did make a mistake, and we just move past it.
And I knew early in the season there was a game, I don't know if y'all remember this game, because it's really unheard of what they did. The other team had 24, and I think we were down to like 15, 14, like it was 17? 17? Yeah, it was something ridiculous. You know, when they're on game point and we still have to get 7, 8 points, I've never seen it. And I've seen a lot of club ball and I've seen a lot of high school ball. So I think that moment I was like, when they overcame something pretty special right there. So I knew that little moment kind of gave us a glimpse of the question you asked of handling adversity.
All right. Well, girls, good luck tomorrow night. We cannot wait to see what happens. We're proud of you. We're proud of the accomplishments as a team, for you guys, your individual times, and being Rattlers of the Week this week. So congratulations. Give it up to our Rattlers of the Week. All right, and when we return from break, we're going to look at the boys basketball season. We'll be joined live in studio with head coach Dan Miller. That'll be after the break when we return here on Rattler Up. Welcome back to Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. I'm your host, CJ Odom. We're joined live in studio here at Hayes County Barbecue, the Big Tex Event Center, the place to be on Monday nights at 6 o'clock here for Rattler Up. We're joined in studio with the head boys basketball coach at San Marcos High School, Dan Miller. Coach, welcome into Rattler Up.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, we're excited to have you, and we're going to talk some basketball, but we've had some coaches on, and one of the things that a lot of people like when they watch the show and you get to meet the staff themselves, right? So we're going to start with that. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and the journey that brought you here to San Marcos High School and Rattler Nation.
Sure. Well, first of all, I wouldn't be here without this guy right here. You know, seeing that Coach Walsh came here made it interesting for me to come here. You know, such a respected coach, and that's why I knew that this would be a place that maybe I would leave college to come for. So, you know, my coaching career, I'm originally from Wisconsin.
Okay.
Don't hold it against me, but I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, diehard. Whole family is, and my wife teaches here also, Monica. She's a Green Bay Packers fan also. But
everything starts with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, you have to say it.
From the moment I met him, everything started with the Green Bay Packers.
At least if you're going to be it, be all in, right?
I just have to start, you know, and talk about the Packers. But no, I've been coaching in Texas for a while, though. So I was at Seven Lakes as a head coach there for 10 years. And then I left high school and went to college and as a head coach for 7 years at Laterno University. And then just, you know, no reason, just kind of wanted to a little change. Mm-hmm. Monica and I were going to be empty nesters with all our kids in college. And, you know, we're happy to be here in San Marcos.
All right, well, talk about the kids a little bit. Where are the kids now?
So 3 kids. My oldest, I'll start with her. She's actually teaching. She's in Austin, and she's up in Buda.
Runs in the family, very
Yeah,
cool.
Elementary school teacher. And then I have a son, Kyron. He's at UT Tyler, studying there, and he's going to go on after one more year and then go on to school, get his master's. And then Caden, he followed us here to Texas State. So he was going to go to UT. And I came down, and he's like, hey, this is a pretty cool place too. So kind of like Maggie Walsh going to play volleyball at Texas State. He liked it, and he's going to school there.
All right, well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what are some things that you've seen so far that have maybe surprised you about San Marcos that you didn't see coming before you got here?
Well, I mean, it's a great city, and some of the things that my wife and I really like, it's just a beautiful place. We love walking around the river. We love just being a part of the Austin area. You can get into Austin quick, so many great things. But then the high school, just following those girls in volleyball and football this week about to punch their ticket into the playoffs. Just the excitement right now that's going with the athletic program is fun to be a part of, and we look forward to following that. Fall sports.
Coach Walsh talks momentum quite a bit. Is that something that you've got to kind of capture now, right? The football and the volleyball team have really delivered on the momentum and what their expectations are. So basketball, you got to just pick that up and run with it. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited, and it'll be kind of two different seasons for us, just early in the preseason. Our basketball guys that are in there now, kind of know the system now and things we're doing, and then hopefully football will be in the playoffs for a while. But when we get those guys, it'll take a little while to get them caught up on some things. But the key with all of us, and Coach Walsh will tell you this, is conference or district play. Just being ready for district, and by district, we will be ready.
So talk to us a little bit about that process. So you're coming in, you're bringing your system, your way of doing things. You're inheriting a very quality program, good players. So how do you set about kind of making this the new way and getting them used to some new changes?
Yeah, I was blessed to be able to be here in the spring, and that helped a lot. So to come and get some time with them before the summer, so they kind of see how we do things. And they've had some talent, and we have talent. But you don't just win with talent. You got to do things the right way. And we talked about it point blank. They hadn't been in the playoffs for a while, and obviously that's going to be our goal. But you don't get in the playoffs right now. But you do it really right now by working hard and doing things the right way. So we're in the gym. We're just taking it day by day, and I can already see the progress coming. But we still have a ways to go. We want to have championship practices every day. We've had our 6th practice today. We're getting there, but we still have a ways to go.
And so I imagine this is something that Coach doesn't want to talk about a lot of times. I know Coach Walsh is not into this kind of thing, but to be fair and to kind of give some credit where it's due, TABC put out their UIL boys preseason rankings, and they've got the Rattlers penciled in at number 14 in the state. So based on what you were just saying, how do you not mitigate that? You want that to be a good thing, and you want to be proud of that, but also not let the expectations get too out of hand, or let egos get inflated. Some of the bad that can come with that. How do you manage a really great preseason ranking like that while still getting the team to do what they need to do?
Right. Just to be honest, we haven't even discussed it with the team. I'm sure they've seen it and maybe retweeted it, but that's one we didn't even retweet, just because preseason rankings are, they're based on a lot of things, and we have some talented players. We have a couple talented guys, new coach, so there's some excitement. We did good this summer when we went to TABC and represented San Marcos, but at the same time, we have a long ways to go to get there, so and we're opening up with a very tough schedule, going down to the McDonald's Texas Invitational, and I've had 7 Lakes teams that have been state ranked down there that we've coached and left that tournament maybe 2-3 in the 5 games, and I knew we still had a great team. So it's going to be tough early on, but long as we're playing our best basketball as the season progresses.
So I'll come back to you, Coach Walsh. It sounds we've had a number of coaches in now, right, as this show's developed. Is that coming from the AD? Is that kind of the mentality, right? Like, hey, that pre-district is to get ready for district.
Yeah.
It's not about racking up victories. It's get with the toughest competition you can find and get yourself ready for district.
Yeah, we've hired several new head coaches, and we'll have the soccer coaches on eventually. And as the AD, there's some coaches, I've hired some young coaches. We're going to have Cassie Hormuth on here. She's a first-year coach that, I'm trying to mold her into our personality. With Dan, he had the resume already. And the thing that stood out for Dan when we talked, because I know what it's like to build a program from scratch. From Geyer, we built it we started. We had to hire everybody, buy all the equipment, and Dan did that at 7 Lakes. So I know what you learn, from that process, and because you start off zero, literally. And so he went through that process, and his resume spoke well after that. And then so I knew the things you're asking him right now in our conversation, we just aligned. I say it all the time. I love God a lot, and He loves me back, as Dan just fell in my lap one night because I was really offering the job to a friend of mine. And then I was laying on the couch and I was having, just some thoughts. And if my friend's watching, he knows the story, so he still loves me too. But my phone dinged, and it was an email. And I kind of halfway looked at it, threw the phone down, and said, I just grabbed it again. And the resume stood out. And then so I just said, heck, I'll call him. And then we talked for a long time on the phone. And then when he came down, I knew he was serious. You can apply for a job, but if you don't come all the way down, because he was in Longview, 4 or 5 hours, and came down, and he's got the experience. He's one of the coaches that I hired that I don't have to try to get in the personality that I would like to have. I'm not having to coach Dan.
Right.
I'm going to get to learn from Dan.
And so we know that with, like you said, volleyball and basketball, really getting exciting things going. We've been filling the snake pit for volleyball games, so we expect to do the same for boys basketball and girls basketball. So what are the things that you are excited about seeing and you're excited for fans to come see when they start coming out to basketball games?
Right. Yeah, the volleyball games have been so fun. And, the football guys, the basketball guys, the baseball guys, and, other sports and girls, just getting that gym rocking. That's what we want. That's what we want to. And, to do that, we tell the guys, first you have to be good people, because no one wants to go cheer for guys that aren't, nice. So be good to people in the school, in the classroom, represent our program good there. And then I think they're going to see a great product. Yes, we have talented guys, but, we play fast. And we don't just talk about it, but we play fast. So we're gonna be a team that's going to be exciting, play a hard man-to-man defense, and play fast, and be a team that shares the ball. So I think we're going to be an exciting team to watch no matter who we play. So I think the fans will really get their money's worth, and we look forward to having that snake pit packed.
All right, well, we're going to keep you updated here on Rattler Up for games and opportunities to come and support them. Come support Dan Miller and his new program here. So, Coach, thanks for being with us here at Rattler Up, and good luck with everything for this season.
Yeah, thank you, and I really like this podcast. It's great.
I appreciate it. All right, well, it's time to bring our attention back to the gridiron as the Rattlers have one last game left in district play as they wrap up the regular season. This Friday night, they head to Austin to take on Akins, and there is a playoff berth on the line. That game is going to be at 7:30. San Marcos has a one-game lead over Akins going into the game for the final playoff spot from District 26. Akins would get that spot with a win by virtue of winning the tiebreaker on the head-to-head results, which makes this ultimately a winner-take-all playoff spot game. So their season is played out very much like ours. They had their difficult games against a Lake Travis, a Bowie, and a Westlake. They got their impressive wins over Del Valle and Hayes. Now, they had a little more trouble with Austin High than we did, but we really kind of arrived at this point in the season in very similar fashion. So knowing that, it seems like a pretty even matchup on paper. What are you looking to do in practice this week to get the boys ready, without all that's on the line, just to play the specific team of Akins?
Yeah, so as far as punching the ticket, it's nothing new for us. We've been talking about it. We knew it was coming down to the last two games. We would have liked to have done it the week before, but it didn't happen that way. We all went and watched, a bunch of the team did, all the coaches did. We watched Akins and Hayes. I believe it was week 1, wasn't it? And they were much improved. They're still much improved. They move the ball on a lot of people, on everybody actually. They run the slot tee, and they add a little spread. They're pretty much exactly like Hayes is and was. So there'll be a challenge like they are for everybody on that side of the ball. What we're doing in practice is we're just trying to get better for the next week. There's not a question. We got beat by New Braunfels in week 1, and people thought I was bold when I told the reporters I'm guaranteeing us in the playoffs, and nothing's changed, and that stance isn't changing. We're going to take care of business. We had a good Monday, and we'll finish it off Friday.
And I think the football team, I would reflect the same things that I said to Maggie and Ruby when they were here. This is a team that has not given up. Right. They have had adversity. They have had highs and lows all season long. It's been a very similar roller coaster. And here we are, potentially both headed to Vandergrift if things play out right. So it's been amazing to watch the volleyball and football teams mirror each other. But again, they're doing that same thing. And talk to me about how they have gotten to a point where they can avoid letting those types of things, the bad stuff, really get them down.
I did an interview the other day with Craig Way, and it just came to mind as he was asking questions, and I really thought about it, and my answer was pretty on point. When I got in the car, I said, man, that is why whether it's volleyball or whether it's the football team, the building process, when you're building a program, there's lots of components to it, but I think the two main components you better have is you better be patient through the building process, and you better be loyal to each other while you're being patient. And the kids have been patient. They've listened. They've believed everything we said, and they're loyal to each other. And I'm talking about adults and kids. I don't think when we're in a circle or we're in a locker room, there's anybody rolling their eyes, or there's nobody out of tune. We're all in it for the same journey, and this journey's been fun. And I think the adversity is easy for us. It's easy for volleyball. It's going to be easy for the sports coming up because we're still loyal to each other, and we're in it for each other.
And I think that it's got to be a big positive for us because you and your coaching staff have experienced this. While our players may not have had this pressure on them at this level in a lot of ways, you and most of your coaching staff have been there. You've been in these big, high-pressure stakes kinds of games. How do you draw on that experience to kind of apply to what you've got going on here with the Rattlers?
Yeah, I think we've used some examples. Isaiah could probably answer this, but I think we've used some. It's funny, after the Del Valley game, we were down 28-7. We came back. Maggie and Ruby were on the sideline, and game's over. They came by me when I was talking to the reporter. They said, "Did you think we were going to lose?" And she goes, "No, I've seen this before." So yeah, I think we've tried to tell stories. I'm hoping when they look to the sideline, they see confident right. Adults, that aren't panicking, that are getting the next call in or getting the problem solving in, and I don't see any panic in those guys.
All right, well, it's going to be huge this Friday night, 7:30 at Burger Stadium in Austin. Akins versus Rattlers for the playoff spot, and that's going to do it for this week's Rattler Up. Hays County Barbecue has been another great host for us. We appreciate them, and this is where you got to be each week. Monday nights at 6 o'clock. Have the brisket. Listen to Rattler Up. Watch some Monday Night Football. It really is the place to go. But before we go, we want to let you know the opportunities to catch the Rattler Nation in action, and it's two big games. It's Tuesday and Friday. This is the high alert. If you're a member of the Rattler Nation, we need you on Tuesday, and we need you on Friday, and we need you in your car on the road. We got to get you there. Tuesday night, it's playoff time. Volleyball team in North Austin for their bi-district match against Vandegrift in a rematch of last year's bi-district round. If you haven't taken me up on watching an exciting volleyball team yet, you got to do it tomorrow night. It's incredible. Match starts at 6:30. With traffic, you're there a little bit under an hour, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, Coach. If you need to leave work a little early to beat the traffic and get there, contact the athletic office. Coach Walsh will write you a note for your boss. I'm sure that'll work, but we got to get you out there Tuesday night, 6:30 at Vandegrift for that game. And then Friday night, the Rattlers taking on Akins at Burger Stadium at 7:30. This is in South Austin. Traffic won't be as bad for you, not as much to have to worry about. You can stop by Hays County Barbecue first. You can get your brisket and your sausage in your system. Head on up and be there to support the Rattlers as the playoff berth is on the line. But Coach, for the live crowd here, the show ends and the fun continues. We stay here for Monday Night Football. We got a kind of a clunker game. The Giants and the Chiefs, two teams that are both struggling, but who you got tonight?
I guess the Chiefs. They've been terrible. But
flip a coin at this point, right?
No one's pulling for the Giants.
No one in this room is pulling. Even Packers fans don't cheer for the Giants, right? All right, well, we want to thank VYPE and our producer, Josh, for putting the show together. Remember, you can catch all episodes of Rattler Up on the VYPE YouTube channel. Make sure to find that and subscribe. I want to thank our live crowd at Hays County Barbecue for always making it fun to talk sports and be a part of the Rattler Nation. So for Coach Walsh, I'm CJ Odom, and we'll see you next week on Rattler Up.